Feel good? Okay, let's go. You okay? It's kind of steep at first and then it flattens out once we get up higher.
Take it.
No, let's go. We're gonna go. We need to get up there
No, please.
before the sunlight's gone.
Dad, please.
We only have a half a mile to go.
That's gonna take long.
Well, that's how it goes. That's why we're here. It's not supposed to be easy. It is. Let's go. We're running out of light. You all right?
No.
You can do it.
I'm gonna head back. It's still steep.
What does?
The land is still steep.
Yeah.
When does
It
the
is.
steep part end?
Right up here, I think.
Dad, are we there?
I don't know. I've never been here. Stay close to me because there are drop-offs here, okay?
Okay, where are the drop
Big
offs?
cliffs. Will you help me set this up? Do you like this?
Yeah.
I think that's really nice. You see on El Capitan, this rock right here? See that line, the shadow line?
Yeah.
As the sun goes down back here, that line is going to rise. See how the shadow is already higher? You gotta be really gentle because if you do it too fast, the water, the chemical, gets under the collodion and it peels it up, lifts it up off of the
Kinda like
glass.
that.
Exactly.
Do you think this is the beautifulest one?
No. This is the first time I've ever carried a darkroom in. Usually I just do it out of the back of my truck. That is a nice plate. Thanks, man. We gotta wash this one a little bit more or else it won't be preserved. Will you grab me that gray thing?
What gray thing?
Carlton Watkins first photographed the Yosemite Valley in the summer of 1861. He captured the images on large plates of glass and with a glue-like substance called collodion. He hauled 2,000 pounds of equipment on mules through the dangerous and wild terrain to photograph from carefully chosen viewpoints. Because of his visual genius and relentless nature, he managed to create photographs that were so perfect that even decades later, Ansel Adams would study Watkins' work and recreate images from the exact locations. President Lincoln saw the photographs Watkins made in the midst of the Civil War, and even though he had never been to Yosemite in person, he was inspired to sign legislation that would preserve Yosemite Valley forever. This laid the foundation for the national park system, and was the first time in human history a government would protect wilderness for public use.
The explosion in visitations of all national parks is only going to increase because our population is not going to retreat.
Yeah.
And so coming up with a new formula for how we enjoy and use the national parks is a real brain teaser. Never changes. I whistle a happy old tune. While riding the ranges. Maggie, come here. You're not supposed to be chasing those elephants. Come on. My favorite old horse that saw me through many, many miles through all kinds of weather, from hot to freezing cold, died this winter, Waddy. He's retired down here riding these ranges with nobody on his back now. Well, I was first introduced to Indian Creek when I was in my early 20s. And I can vividly remember the dusty pickup ride down the road. It was all a dirt road at that time. And the billowing dust out behind us all the way. And as we dropped down into Indian Creek, just the magical sense that came over me. And the feeling of suddenly feeling truly at home. This was the place I was meant to be. All that you put in time and effort and sweat. Okay, Mag, come on. You do feel a protection for it. When I think of healing a landscape, I think that it needs solitude. I mean, we can name monuments, we can name parks, but what it really needs is nothing. It needs nothing. It needs to be able to grow its plants, let the sun hit it, and let the water trickle down through it and not be disturbed. And we're a disturbance. Now in the present time is the number of people coming, and the chances of this being vandalized gets greater and greater. And the chance of any of us coming and sitting here alone and feeling somewhat of maybe what the ancient people might have felt will slowly be lost. just trying to break away from the patterns of our everyday life and letting nature seep into us and feel a part of us that I think we miss. We miss because everything's regimented, everything is so easily accessed that we don't feel sometimes the pain of nature as well as the beauty.
That's the point for me, is to get an idea of where different people are coming from. Like the conversations that were sparked from the photographs that Watkins did. If I go photographing a monument or a national park, like with this camera and this dark room and my old chemistry bottles.
You'll draw a crowd, I'm
strewn
sure.
out. Yeah, I draw a crowd, and it always
Yeah.
catalyzes conversation, and it's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Leave this here and bring this right foot forward a little bit. Or just kind of turn your body toward the light. Keep holding still. Good. Let's see how that goes. At least it'll be a starting point. See how the exposure's looking. Make sure this wet plate is still wet. She's a little too centered, I think, maybe. Might be a little boring. Maybe we did 3.5 seconds. Maybe we'll do 2. There's movement in your face.
Oh, okay.
I think the next one will be better. What do you think?
Well,
Yeah? Kind of boring? Now I could just put you like up in the shade a little bit. Yeah.
Stop.
There you go.
Get around.
Yeah, to refocus.
Ah.
Can you turn them a little bit so you're a little more in profile? Yeah, perfect. Right there.
Ah.
Yeah, stay.
Frustrating.
That is oh, I shouldn't talk.
Is it just blurry?
Yeah. Do you want to try it again?
I don't. How about one off? Just holding you.
That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, you can't see. That's our marker. You can't have your butt to the marker. Come on.
Can you do that for me?
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, right there. Perfect. Perfect. Ah, I'll have to.
It's okay. Oh. Can you do it again? Bring him around again. Scout, come here. Come on. Come on, Scout. Come on, Scout. Hi, sit, sit. Yeah, perfect. Hold still. Don't smile. Relax your face. Close your eyes. Open. Good. Sorry, buddy. Perfect, right there. Hold that really as still as you can. Great. You can move.
Eric, you really do need to get an up-to-date camera.
Oh, that's better. Came in a little bit slower, so still happy to.
Well, already I like this one better. Yeah, that one is much better. Much better. Yeah.
Yeah. This is why we came down.
Yep.
This is it. Is that what you want? Sorry. This YouTube dad. Older gear.
Whether we perceive that one entity is destroying the land more than the other, or vice versa. You know, until you walk a mile in their shoes, you shouldn't have an opinion on it. It changes you. It morphs you into a better person. I feel stronger, I feel healthier, I make better decisions. It's intense. Yeah, it gives me goosebumps when I think about it. And it's the best and the biggest drug that I've ever seen and want to taste and want more of. To the freedom of being in the moment. The more I do it, the more I want it. The more I want it. Experience is if you don't come out to touch, taste, smell, feel, experience the backcountry or something of nature, not just the backcountry, of nature itself, you never really connect with your humanity. Most people out here, when they take their helmets off, you'll find they're not some crazy kid throwing up a wheelie on a two-stroke just trying to tear stuff up. They're doctors, they're attorneys, they're moms, they're dads, they're kids, they're grandparents. They're people. They're people that have a passion just for enjoying the backcountry at any moment, whether it's mountain bike, dirt bike, hiking. You just need to get to know them, and then your opinion will change.
Well, when I was 20, I went on a climbing expedition to Kyrgyzstan. And about a week in, a sort of border skirmish opened up, and we got caught in the crossfire and were kidnapped by a regional rebel group. And we were held hostage for a week, hiding out in the mountains from the Kyrgyz army until we finally grabbed this guy and threw him off a cliff. It's kind of hard to explain, but losing your freedom is something that changes you in ways that you just can't really explain to people. When I climb by myself without a rope, I really appreciate the level of focus that it forces me into. And for me, that's how I forget my other problems in the world, I guess, is by doing dangerous things under controlled circumstances. I guess it forces me to be alone with myself and think about things. And I just focus on the process of what I'm doing, which is just living. Living my life in the wilderness, having another tea, another coffee, walking some more distance, not trying to conquer anything or tick anything off the list or do anything special, just getting out and doing. When I was a little kid, I was like a full head smaller than even all the girls till I was like 17. So I always stayed out of sports and everything. My parents started letting me go backpacking by myself when I was like 14. And that was kind of the first time I discovered an activity that I could do and I could be completely in control of and didn't have to try to keep up with other people. I could do things at my own pace and with my own strategy. Yeah, guiding people was a job, but it is something that I do also enjoy because I legitimately like showing people a good time, and I like helping people do things that they don't believe that they could have done themselves. It can be really rewarding to take people from Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or whatever and drag them out, to, be able to go sit down in these villages where people were sitting around 1,000 years ago. For a lot of people, they think that going to arches and walking up in the cattle train to Delicate Arch is as good as it gets. It's kind of a funny idea of preservation. Take the best part of it and destroy it.
The Collodion process really saved me more than anything. I was a medical resident in Arizona, spending so much of my time in what felt like a sterile box, under fluorescent lights, listening to beeps and alarms. And when I decided to close my studio and gallery to pursue medicine, I thought I was going to fix everybody and help save the world. But it just isn't like that. For years, my life was dictated by the requirements of my education and training. This left me feeling detached. But detached from what, I didn't know. I think you can go insane if you don't make an effort to disconnect from all the noise. I escaped whenever I could. Living in Arizona, I was surrounded by so many well-known places in nature. I went to Monument Valley, Yosemite, Zion, and Joshua Tree. And I took my camera. Those experiences were everything medicine wasn't. It was slow and precise, and it was quiet. When I would come back from a trip in wilderness, I felt more aware. Instead of just hearing my patients, I actually listened to them. I noticed more. I had new eyes. Photographing these places with a slow process changed everything for me. It really made me question how I wanted to live my life. What kind of doctor did I want to be? What kind of artist did I want to be? What kind of father did I want to be? I would often call my older sister Alicia to explain my doubts about being in the field of medicine. I sought her advice because I knew she had something that I wanted for myself. Her connection to the natural world through horses is what I admire most about her. She lives in the desert and embodies a sense of freedom few others possess.
I find that the time I spend with the horses brings balance and harmony into my life. It reconnects me with my wildness, with things that are a little simpler, things that, calm thoughts. It reminds me of my place in the ecosystem. They're part of our connection to everything. When we're not experiencing wildness and the wilderness and exploring and discovering and having that reverence for life, we stand to lose everything. We stand to lose the horses and the landscape and the wild waters, and our planet and our souls and everything it is to be human. You know that it's not okay because you've tasted wild water. So you worry about the children that are going to be the ones to protect the land and the open spaces and the wild horses. But if they don't know, and they haven't gone out there and they haven't experienced the spaces, and they're being raised on slides and swings and concrete, they don't know the wildness. We take away their wildness because we've lost our own. It doesn't occur to us that it's not okay. How can we take that? We're not out there anymore. We're not experiencing the landscape, and I think that the ones that are know it better.
been very blessed to have that same feeling of knowing what it's like to be a distance runner in this area and, you know, be on the trail out on the land. And it feels good, you know, it feels good to be out in the dirt, my feet on Mother Earth, being connected like that. It's the same blood that runs in my veins, the same blood of my ancestors. And even thinking beyond me in this contemporary moment, it's the same air, it's the same water, it's the same earth. All of that is the same that generations before me got to experience. Most of these beautiful, special places have been sacred places, just like Yellowstone and Yosemite, like, you know, those parks and monuments that are out there in the world, they were sacred places. Native people protected them, they stewarded them, they took care of them for a long time. And, you know, when Euro-Americans arrived here, they thought it was an Eden, it was a paradise that was untouched, and no people had been there before. But it's completely the opposite. You know, that's why the Bears Ears National Monument is so special, is because we want people to be in the landscape. We don't want them to be separated from it. We need to be out here. We need to all take responsibility and accountability and be held into, you know, counting on each other to take care of the land. It's not just one person or one group or one tribe, it's everybody. I hate speaking for everybody. I don't like doing it, but it's necessary to get as many voices as possible to speak out for both Native communities and the landscape. Because something that I never see consistently brought up, especially when they're talking about Bears Ears, is it's not just about people. It's not about just human beings. It's about all the plants and all the animals, all the medicines, all of our ancestors, all the burials, all the spirits that live out here. You know, it's not just us. Oftentimes when I'm out running in a really rugged terrain, in a rugged place, and I'm having a difficult time, I'll think about the people on the long walk. You know, they didn't have a choice, but they had to walk hundreds of miles to their concentration camp. And when I'm running, it's nothing. The pain and effort you feel is nothing in comparison to what they had to go through. And it wasn't just my people, you know. There was so many other Native communities that went through that. That's another reason why Bears Ears is important, because, you know, it represents a place where we were safe. We were never captured. Nobody put us in jail. Nobody killed us. It was a place that was, you know, really taking care of us. Navajo, we don't have a word for movies or photography or anything. It's more description. So like we say not a kid, so like a moving image, right? And so this is super interesting. So for us to like have this in the center like this is basically the light. It's the fire. The fire always goes in the middle in Hogan like this. And so it's the area that you tell stories in. I feel uncomfortable being on camera. I feel uncomfortable being photographed.
Yeah, I'd like you to just position yourself however you'd like to be.
But I feel like in this moment, it's important to tell the story and let people know that we are still here. And I am working with you in this image production of myself because I want people to see that I exist and I'm a person.
Sorry?
When you say me, where am I looking?
In the camera, in the lens. Actually, look right here in my hand here. Yeah,
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, this will be for a few seconds, all right? Ready? Perfect. Keep holding that.
I'm here in my land, and I'm gonna live here, and I'm gonna die here.
Okay.
This is my place. This is where I belong. No one's gonna take that from me. I think for the majority of Indigenous people, being photographed is uncomfortable. You know, it makes it feel like you're being objectified, that the world's gaze, the stranger's gaze is upon you. And that they don't understand nor really care what your disposition is in life. What? That is craziness.
Well, I mean... I wanted to take Angela's photograph. Not to mimic images from history as a gimmick, but to make real portraits of modern Indigenous people using a timeless process. The same process I used to photograph the timelessness of the land. Okay, look at me. Try not to move while I focus and you can. Look at me. Come forward just a hair. Stop. 4 seconds. Good. Try to be fast this time. Right. Slow down. Yeah, this is, I mean, I'm up for the challenge. But I think, I don't know if we can do better than this with the limited amount of light.
Totally.
But I actually really like that one. What do you think? Too
It does.
haunting again?
No, it just seems like I move too much.
Last time we just shoot you in that field, photograph you in that field. That's what makes this process so hard. Can you open your eyes wide and bigger? Okay, good. No smile, just relax your face. Yeah, you're fine. Take your time. Good. That was hard, I can tell.
It's hard.
I can tell. No, I know.
It's kind of cool that we have portraits in the landscape, you know, in our homelands that we love.
The Collodion process was used to take portraits, and the images became a new kind of signature, proof of existence. This is what I thought of when my friend Jenny Lynn asked me to take her portrait. She was fighting early onset Parkinson's disease, needing medication every few hours in order to move. She wanted proof that she was beautiful once, before she no longer recognized herself. I knew what she wanted, but a photograph could not stop time. It can only capture everything we hope to save. When I was taking Jenny Lynn's portrait, I didn't feel like a photographer or a doctor. In that situation, photographs seemed insignificant, and medicine could only do so much. It felt so much more important to just connect with her and be there. I felt like I was standing in Yosemite again, in the shadow of photography's giants, wondering if an image can preserve anything. What happens when all we are left with is a photograph? We want to come over here. Sorry, it's a little wet that way.
And there's bugs everywhere. It's gross.
It's okay. Just follow in my steps, okay? That is a lot of height to get in the frame. It's too tall. Oh man, need a wider lens. Feel how hot that is. We should have done this first thing in the morning. Try and cool it down with a little bit of water.
Yeah, I'm tired of the sun.
Hold still. All right. Let's see how that goes. Oh, it's too hot. Look at all this. Yeah, I think we need to do this in the morning instead of right now.
Are these stripes there?
Yeah, that's all chemicals. Because the temperatures are really wonky. Some of my chemistry was a little bit cool. The plate was hot. The tent is really warm inside. So everything's out of balance.
My first visit down here was when I was a scout. Our scoutmaster had brought us here to see the area. And then we took a motorboat up the Colorado River, which was just starting to flood as they had developed Lake Powell. That was my first visit into southern Utah. And we saw these very high canyons. And I have a memory of the guy operating the boat pointing to a very high notch. And he said, one day, this will all be covered. And that was my first experience of this area, that it was going underwater. And that was hard. They kept talking about this going underwater, and I said to the guy why, and he had no answer. As I ran a river trip every year down Cataract Canyon, we would come to a screeching, grinding halt. And there we were at Lake Powell. And every year that happened, I just got angrier and angrier that man had destroyed all this beauty. This is Glen Canyon. The arch that's behind us, Jacob Hamlin Arch, is one of the bigger arches in all of Glen Canyon. The second biggest natural bridge in the world is completely underwater. I go by it, we look at it, and I'm waiting for the water to recede so that I can go under it some way. That is a love of land. That's why we're here. I don't think you can be a complete human unless you come out to where we evolved. Otherwise, you live in an artificial world. I don't think there is a greater responsibility that adults have than to teach children proper and good principles. They are the next generation that changes and modifies the world in which we live. Nothing, I think, is more important than that. And nothing is more important than to bring youth and children into a place like this. It's transformative. It changes them completely. Getting people to talk one with another is a huge, huge challenge with all these diverse opinions, and everybody has a view about land. And there's no necessarily right or wrong view.
I look forward to passing this on to my children someday. And I assume they'll pass it on to their children. I would love that whole idea, and that's part of what I'm trying to create. You know, we all want to leave some sort of legacy in life, right? And I want my legacy to be a lot more than just making money. I lived out here in an RV for 4 months. It was just me and the farm, and an occasional glass of wine. I'd just walk around, and I'd walk through the olive grove. That's why I say in the evening, because I'd come out after work and walk through the olive grove in the evenings, and just relieve my mind. I was going through a really troubling time of life anyways. Having this, you know, it's just a gift. Very much so a place of healing.
Jeff Morgan purchased a photograph I had made in the Bears Ears Monument in southeast Utah. He's the CEO of a drilling company. The first time I met him, we had dinner and discussed issues surrounding public land. He told me that everything we have in our lives is either harvested or mined, and he couldn't support the cause of preservation based on his experience in the mineral exploration industry because he's seen things taken too far. I explained to Jeff that the places I had photographed had made a big impact on me, and I wanted to see them preserved. We didn't share the same opinion, but we continued the conversation, and we listened to each other.
We all love the land. I don't care which side of the issue you're on, we all love the land. We all respect the land. We want to preserve it at a certain level. We all want to make sure all the beauty stays. And it's easy to be in that space. If you have everything you need, you have a job, and you have your place in life. We forget the fact that our homes were built on land that other people may have wanted to preserve at one time. And we drink water from reservoirs where dams were built where people didn't want to build a dam before. We get our energy from the mining of oil and gas. Our cars are made of steel and plastic. The plastic comes from oil and the steel comes from mining. And we forget that because we have what we want, and so we don't think about the ongoing use of land. Just the idea of preserving for the sake of preserving doesn't make sense to me. Photographs appeal to me just because of their beauty. you could see the beauty of the landscape in black and white in a way that I hadn't seen before, actually.
Although Jeff had purchased my photographs, he had never been to southern Utah. When I told him we were doing a 16-mile hike with Rich in Glen Canyon, he wanted to come. These guys are on opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're here, and they're talking. Had Jeff not purchased those photographs, would he have otherwise come to Glen Canyon? Would he have ever seen this landscape? For most of the hike, he led the way, like he was on this great adventure and couldn't get enough. He was like a kid. I thought I was here for Rich, the founder of the Glen Canyon Institute. He's a physicist and a doctor, also a well-known land conservationist. He's a disruptor and one of my mentors. But I kept seeing Jeff, the CEO of a drilling company, walking with Rich, walking with me. My focus began to shift. Here we were, sharing common ground. How many other people had I dismissed due to my preconceived notions? What good comes from staying within your own tribe? It's a profound experience to connect with the landscape, connect with each other, connect with ourselves.
I understand that somebody may want to build an oil well here, and somebody might want to build a condominium here or flood this whole thing with water, but I have to try and educate them that that's not the best use of this land, and the best way for me to do that is to bring them and just stand them right here and say, what do you want to do with this?
I remember as a kid driving through places like Monument Valley, or seeing road signs to Bryce Canyon or Zion National Park. We didn't often spend time in wilderness or stop to see these places. Road trips were about getting from A to B, visiting family and playing with cousins. I remember seeing the spires of rock formations from inside a moving car, or from the occasional viewpoint. Now that my wife and I have kids and live near so many incredible landscapes, I think about what I want to do differently. I ask myself how I can expose them to wilderness in a way that connects them to nature. We want to give them experiences outside early in life that will keep them coming back.
Oh yeah, it's fine. That's a good job. This is big.
I want them to be unafraid, to examine the details.
Yeah, and there's some more guys over there.
I try not to tell them what to think.
No, you can.
I just want them to pay attention.
It just...
I've noticed that when I bring them into this landscape, they don't need any direction. They already know what to do. I wish I could be more like that. Curious and present. Before collodion was used in photography, it was used as a surgical dressing. It was the glue doctors used to bind wounds. It literally brought things together. This camera and the collodion process brought me into wilderness and closer to myself. It's hard to explain, but from the time I take a picture to the time I develop it in the darkroom just minutes later, I'm just excited. Like when my dad would take me to buy fireworks, or when I climbed the ladder to the treehouse in our front yard for the first time. It's in those moments of anticipation, there's this sense of mystery. And I just feel joy while I watch the photograph emerge onto the glass plate. There's almost always some mistake or some misfortune, but I think it makes the image more interesting, more playful. The artifact and imperfections is really what holds my attention. It's totally exhilarating, and it never gets old. I become a kid again by taking pictures this way. It's fleeting, of course, but I know my way back. It's in these places and through this process that I've learned to slow down and just be more like my kids. Maybe curiosity and presence could help save us all.
Still. And now just climb up here. There's tons of sticks. It's like a bird nest. Well, maybe it is a bird nest.
kind of like these trees right here in front of the rock. Stick it in. Push it all the way through.
Like right here?
Yep. Right here.
But how do I do it?
Try.
Dad, I'm not tired anymore.
Good. Feeling good?
Yeah.
Don't walk. See if that stick. Nice hit. I feel like we should get this tree in it a little bit more.
Wait, is it just flipped over?
Yep. What's right is left, and what's left is right. Thanks. Yeah, this stuff stinks.
Does? Oh yeah, the collodion.
Mm-hmm. If you want to back up, you should. Right, let's go take this picture. Here, hold that.
This thing?
Yep. Hold really still, don't walk or move, stand, okay? I'll go develop it.
Can I come develop it with you?
Yeah, let's go. Just be on my right.
Okay, so I gotta stay on this side.
Right here. The water is called the stop bath because it stops the developing process.
Stop bath.
And then
Wait, so this is bath water? Or
it's just normal water.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think this one is better. Do you think that?
Yeah, I think it's a lot better. I think I love it.
Do you like right here?
Yeah, I really do. It's like you have this dark area in the shadow, and then where the sun is hitting the dawn wall, and then over here you have more black. We need to spend a good amount of time washing this with water, though, so that it stays preserved for a long time.
What's preserved mean?
It means we can save it, and it doesn't change. It doesn't deteriorate and fall apart. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite plates I've ever made. It's also the first time I've made a plate that's vertical. Most of the time my plates are sideways like that. But because this mountain is so tall, I had to do it differently.
Yeah, and I like how it's vertical like that.
You do?
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. I'm really excited about this one.
The next photo can we take the choir through, like, you know, the
The
spires?
spires?
Yeah, can you take a picture of them next?
Yeah. There you go. Pull that, cock it. Pull it back. Good. Close it. Close this. There you go. Push it. Pull it back. Cock it. Good. Now you're ready to take pictures. So you remember how to focus?
Yep, like this thing.
You remember which way is infinity, so you can get everything that you see?
Wait, what's infinity?
That little sign right there that looks like a sideways 8. When you have it there, let me set this for you. Yeah, put that on 11. There, you're good. I'm gonna set up the darkroom while you take some photos, okay? Bye.